Hi, everybody. Listen, I think we should welcome each other to the UN. This is pretty spectacular. What do you think? I should be thanking you because I've never had a chance to speak on the floor of the United Nations. I did Model UN for a long time. Anybody do Model UN? Okay, right on, right? This is the real thing, so this is pretty cool. So I'm Shamina Singh, and I started something at MasterCard called the Center for Inclusive Growth. The reason we started it, and this is why this is important for you all, is because we recognize that any company who wants to succeed in the world today has to do the job of figuring out how to use all of their assets for social impact. So what does that mean when you're a company like MasterCard? Well, it means you're in the global payment space. What does that mean? It means that you're in 210 markets. You've got about 2 billion people who are probably transacting trillions of dollars with people that they don't know and have never met before and may not know. But the trust that comes from transacting between parties who may not know each other is something that we take for granted today. That wasn't the way it used to be. Think about it. We used to transact in cash. And so when you transact in cash, you know you're looking somebody in the face and you can say, I'm going to get what you give, and vice versa. The movement of transacting face-to-face from cash to digital has been globally transformative. But in order to do that, we had to create a system of virtual trust, an entire system built on, we call it franchise rules of engagement for transacting between people who don't know each other. Think about that. So every day when you go log on to your computer and buy an airline ticket here and things like that, you're engaging in something that entrepreneurial thinking not too long ago, this is like not too long ago, we just went public 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, is recent. So think about that. That kind of scale, that transformation is what you all have an opportunity to do today and going forward. That's why you're here today. I think that's why the organizers have brought you here, is to inspire, but also to let you know the scale at which you have to achieve. Because as you could tell from the video and the work here, the stakes aren't small. The stakes are huge. So I would offer that the revolution that we're involved with today is an evolution of where many of us started years ago. And it's a digital evolution. Technology is doing today what wouldn't have been nearly possible just a few short years ago. So instead of, in the same way that companies were built, businesses were built, the chambers of commerce were built, these are the things that happened, in the past. And what I'm sort of offering to you today, what I'm challenging you to do today, is take what you know today, take the technology, take the digital work, take the data protocols, and use it in a way that is values-based. That is right and that is good, that is profitable and sustainable. Because we cannot live in a world where the two have to be mutually exclusive. That's your job as an entrepreneur of today, is to create business, create strategies that find the win-win. If you're creating business practices, products, policies, strategies that are making people lose, you're in the wrong place. You should not be sitting in the UN. Your purpose here is to not be the change, but I would argue create the new normal. Because that's what's happening now. We are in a digital revolution where the new normal is being created every day. And it really matters who's doing the creating. So if you're doing the creating from a place that isn't informed by leadership, by purpose, by values-based moral guidance, then I would suggest you either figure out how to do that or you move to the side. Because the digital foot soldiers of today are the ones who are creating the businesses of tomorrow. And I'm very happy and very proud to be at the forefront of that evolution. That's why we created the Center for Inclusive Growth at MasterCard. We're an independent subsidiary that sits inside the company for the express purpose of leveraging the assets of our firm for social impact, to do well by doing good. We don't sit as a separate foundation. We have a wonderful MasterCard Foundation, by the way, that is separate and is involved in sort of pure traditional philanthropy. And guess what? This is what happens when you do well by doing good. When we went public as a company, we took 10% of the stock and created a foundation. That stock started off at $500 million, $500 million. Today, how much do you think that foundation is worth? In the last 10 years, $30 billion. $30 billion. So for anybody who says when they go public as a company, they can't take a little bit of a percentage of that money and do something with it around positive impact, I don't know that they believe, either they don't believe that much in their company or they don't believe that much in impact, because we combined the two and said, we're betting on MasterCard and we're betting on the world. $30 billion later, the MasterCard Foundation is making an enormous difference for creating 30 million jobs in Africa, 30 million jobs for young people. So they're investing in you across the continent in Africa. We are not the foundation. I sit ex officio on the board of that foundation, but what we also realized is capital will not solve the problem alone. It cannot solve the problem alone. It has to be the best and the brightest of business that comes together with the capital to make the new norm. And that's what you're seeing with the SDGs. There's a $2 trillion gap in achieving the SDGs. No amount of philanthropy in the world can cover that kind of gap. It has to come from business. It has to come from you and blend the best of social impact with the best of business, remembering that they're not mutually exclusive, to find the win-win. If you do that today, you will have done something that we will remember, started here today, and 10 years from now, when you're sitting in these chairs as representatives of countries who have figured out that countries grow when business and society come together. And that will be what will be happening on the floor of the United Nations when you all are successful. Have a great session today. Hope you had a great session yesterday. And I look forward to seeing what comes out of this. Thank you.